Hey, my name is Ed Baker. I'm an e-commerce SEO expert. I own 3 e-commerce storefronts. Currently, I'm a little bored because I'm in the special events industry, and due to COVID-19, there's not a lot of special events happening. So I have a lot more time. I've been giving back to a lot of the SEO communities online in Facebook, jumping over to the proper SEO group. Jeff Davis asked if I would share a demo because he's about to build a site and explain how the Google bot is working and how to rank for home equity of all things is what he's asking for. So I know absolutely nothing about home equity. So this is a great topic to, actually check out and investigate. So I want to start off just saying that the reason people suck at SEO is nobody has ever explained or shown how the core functionality of the Google bot actually works. The Google bot parses your page into data that it can manipulate and understand. Now, most of this parsing is done utilizing natural language processing, or NLP. So I'm going to pull up natural language processing. Make sure I get Google's NLP. So it's cloud.google.com, and then it's natural language. So this is an API where you can come experiment and try out Google's ability to parse and understand written content. And just a few weeks ago, the core functionality of the bot was upgraded. So what I mean by this is the previous NLP version that Google was utilizing would allow the bot to read right to left and then left to right and get context of the words in those sentences, because they're next to each other. And in October of 2019, Google introduced and tested this new algorithm. So it's not words to vec anymore. It's something called BERT. So just to show you what BERT is, the BERT algorithm, bidirectional encoder representations from transformers. So to put all the technical jargon aside and to put this into like layman terms, essentially the bot went from reading left to right and right to left to now converting and cataloging every single word on the page into identifiable entities. Okay? So it's a fancy way of just saying it compares every word to every other word on the page for contextual relevance and prominence and just understanding. So the example that Jeff wants me to do is home equity. So the results can, of course, vary based on where you are. I'm in New York in the United States. So just for the record, as I search, these are the results that are coming up. So I'm going to do a search for home equity. And I'm going to look for the number one result. So Investopedia is the number one result for home equity. And what I want to do is I'm just going to jump onto their page. And I'm not even going to read it. I'm not even going to pay attention to it. I'm just going to use this hack. I'm going to do a Control A to select all of the written content on their page. Say Control C. And I'm going to pop over here to natural language processing, right? And then down here where it says natural language API demo, you can actually paste in content from any website and click analyze. It'll ask if you're a robot or not. You just say, okay. And you'll see here what it's done is it's crunched all of the text I've provided it, and it's broken the text down into entities. So in addition to breaking it into entities and then ranking the prominence of it with a salience score, I'm going to get into that in a second, it does sentiment analysis. So it's basically breaking it down word by word or concept by concept to understand who, what, where, when, and why. And then it's giving a tonality. A sentiment analysis is a tonality analysis of each sentence or paragraph if it's positive or negative or neutral. So sometimes if you don't rank, it's just because you have a more negative tone than the competitors. This is a very tertiary or not as important factor. You're going to be very much focused on entities going forward in your SEO journey, and how these entities stack and how they relate to each other is going to be super important. So let's take a look at this page. So the Investopedia page, according to the bot's eyes, I'm just moving some tabs around. So the Investopedia page, according to the bot's eyes, this page is about HELOC or HELOC. HELOC. I don't know. I'm not in this industry. I don't even know what this is. So let's look it up. Oh, duh. Home equity line of credit. So the bot believes that this page from Investopedia, more so than anything else, is about the home equity line of credit. And you'll see here, it's actually referencing Wikipedia for more information on that topic. So if it's not sure what an entity is, so it breaks all these things down into entities. If it's not sure what the entity is, it will link off to a citation from a reputable source. Go read about it, understand all about that topic, and then come back here and figure out how important this article is in relation to that. So it's referencing encyclopedia, Wikipedia, and it's providing this salience score, which is a prominence in the content. And you'll see here typically, so number one entity is home equity line of credit. Number two entity is home equity. 3, 4, so 3 and 4 are all home equity. So then home ownership, home equity, property, interest. All right, so I bet you, without even having to go look at any other competitors, the reason this is the number one result is it's focused on this home equity line of credit and home equity, right? And those entities are what it focuses most on. Now, if we go back out to the search results, so Investopedia was number one. I'm going to go find somebody who's much further down the search engine results. There's this new company, Rocket Mortgage. And the reason I think Rocket Mortgage is a cool example, because they've actually been like advertising on TV and stuff like that now. I've actually seen them, I've heard of them, and I'm not even aware of home equity at all. So anyways, this is their page, and we're going to do the same thing that we did for the Investopedia page. We're going to get the Google NLP API. We're going to open that. While we're opening that, we're going to come to Rocket Mortgage. I'm going to do a dirty Control-A, Control-C to get all their written content. Again, I'm not even reading their website. I don't even care what it's about yet. This is super high level, right? Coming over here to the API, I'm pasting in their written content. And again, without knowing, I bet you that their entities are not focused on the right thing. Okay? And that's why they're out of alignment to be ranking in the top 10 on Google, right? They were number, was it 19, I think? Let me go back out. Double check this again. I'll just do another search for it. I think it was 19. I just want to double check what it was. $18. So they're number 18 right now, and we're going to try to push them to be more like the number one result. So let's take a look at Rocket Mortgage's entities. Now that this is done crunching. So interesting. It believes this page is about home, lending or lenders, Quicken Loans. So obviously they have some sort of big asphyxiation on Quicken Loans. Again, I don't know too much about home equity or Rocket Mortgage, but I'm just pointing out what the bot is reading, right? And then, oh, here's home equity. So home equity is the 5th strongest entity on the page, and that home equity line of credit is the 8th most prominent term or entity, right? Where if we look back at the number one result, well, that home equity line of credit is the number one entity, and the number two is home equity. So if you're wondering, hey, well, why doesn't this page outrank this other page? It's as simple as that, folks. Like, this is what the page is most predominantly about. And then all of these terms that it's spitting out, these are, again, being categorized. So pay attention to the fact that it understands when something's a consumer good or a person or a person's role or a work of art or an event or a location or an organization or a business. Like it's figuring out what all of this stuff is, and then it's contextually, analyzing it against each other. And this is why content creation is so important right now. And it's actually enabling people who don't have strong domains to outrank people who have much stronger domain authority and many more backlinks. So most people don't believe that it's possible to rank without backlinks or authority. I'll tell you flat out, it is. It's very, very possible. All you have to do is feed this BERT algorithm. Now, how we used to do it, and again, I knew about this back in, I guess, November, October of 2019. So I've known about BERT for a long, long time. Let me jump over to my site for a second. I have an article. It's still under the works. It's how to start an e-commerce business. It's not a beginner's guide. It's a lot of advanced information on here. But I want to jump over and just call out. So October 2019, Google introduced BERT onto 10% of the search results. Just a few weeks ago, they now have announced 100% of all search results are now utilizing this BERT functionality. So you have to feed the BERT algorithm in order to rank. And so most SEOs are caught up in the micro. They're not looking at the macro. They're caught up in the micro. Do I have enough backlinks? Do I have, a link from this other website? Do I have, the right, whatever. All these other things that people think are going to be important and drive the needle. And the truth is they're just topically not relevant. They're not in alignment with what's already ranking, right? So I've gotten into on-page optimization quite heavily over the past year, feeding the BERT algorithm. And it's important that you saw this stuff manually before I jump into what I'm going to go into next. So in full transparency, back in December of 2019, I started a trial on a piece of software. And let me just scroll to the bottom of my website here. Again, full transparency, I am a affiliate of their software, Surfer SEO. And the reason I want to show you Surfer SEO, it's a correlation tool. Correlation analysis essentially lets us look at the top 10 results of Google and then model our content and, build a page that will rank for that particular term. And it's one of the few softwares out there right now. There are a couple others, handful of others, that actually tap in to this Google NLP API and pull these terms into the optimization formula. So that's why it's ridiculously powerful to utilize Surfer to come up with content templates and to also audit your page. So what I'll do is let me log into Surfer. And again, no pressure to buy this software. I use it. I want you to see it. I want you to understand why it's used, how to set things up. So there's two sides to the Surfer software. There's the SERP analyzer and the content editor. They just released Content Planner. I'm not going to get into that much today, but I do want to just show you SERP analyzer, content editor. Again, we are looking for the keyword home equity. So you select your country, you put your keyword in, you always select mobile because Google's now indexing mobile first. And then you want to include NLP. So it's going to charge you these NLP credits in your license. What this is essentially is when the NLP API pings over here, you're getting hit for that actually happening, but it's going to bring in all those really important topical terms and help you rank much better. So I'm going to set up a home equity SERP analyzer, and then I'm going to set up a home equity content editor. Okay. And again, I have my country, mobile, NLP activated. So we're going to pretend like I am Rocket Mortgage, just as an example right now. We're going to wait for this SERP analyzer to be done, but I'm going to pretend I'm Rocket Mortgage. I'm number 18 on Google. I want to get myself to be number 1 for home equity on Google. What can I do? How can I be better? Right? So we'll correlate the content that's on Rocket Mortgage's page versus the Investopedia page. And we'll find how to tweak the content for the bot to believe it's more topically relevant and then therefore rank it. Now, once you get into alignment with your competitor, if you're still not outranking them, that's where all the other stuff comes into play. The backlinks and the citations and social media profiles and activity and engagement and all these other things that everybody focuses on. If your content isn't in alignment, none of that stuff's going to help you. It's really, those are all like tiebreakers, right? The speed of your website. I love how caught up SEOs get in that. Well, yeah, it's important to have a page that loads relatively quick enough that someone's going to sit there and read it. But beyond that, the microseconds you're shaving off are really not going to break the tie for you unless you're neck and neck with your competitors. So I'm in the SERP analyzer for Surfer. This is correlation software. You have to be careful with it. If you choose the wrong competitors, you will put yourself into a world of hurt. If you choose the right competitors, you're going to see some fantastic results. The number one thing that I can recommend that you do the second you're in the software is to click this exclude all pages button. And the reason we want to click that button is you'll see here, Surfer is analyzing all of these top 50 results, top 48 results, maybe even top 100. I don't remember the exact number. It's changed, but essentially it's correlating against all these and trying to help you identify patterns. So the very first thing I want to do is I want to exclude, because I don't care about the top 50. I only care about the top 10. So I'm going to exclude all pages from the audit. I'm going to drop in this Rocket Mortgage URL, pretending I am them, and I'm trying to go up in rankings. And what Surfer will do is it'll assign a content score and then a domain authority score, or just domain score. So we're going to let that crunch, and we're going to hand pick some competitors that will help us correlate better topically and then potentially rank better. So here's what's really, really cool. Rocket Mortgage has really, really good content, right? So they have a 75 content score. It's much higher than some of these other guys. But you'll notice number 8 also has that. So this particular SERP, because it's so competitive, right? Look at these domains. They have really high scores. This is when, yes, backlinks and all of the little minor things about your website, the age of the domain, the number of articles you have, the number of index pages you have, this is going to be that fight because it's competitive. However, I will point out, look at this number 6, Bank of America, right? Now, it is Bank of America, so I don't believe it's a 0 for domain authority. That's probably a false throw on Surfer's behalf, excuse me. And Wikipedia. So yeah, I mean, you're going up against these huge brands, NerdWallet, US Bank, blah, blah, blah. What we really want to figure out though is what are these other guys talking about that you're not talking about? So I might take these first 3 competitors, and while their content scores are not quite as good, they're still good content scores. We just want to figure out topically, what are they mentioning that you're not mentioning on this Rocket Mortgage page. So this audit will actually help us because it's taking our Rocket Mortgage page, crunching it against the other 3 pages, and it's spitting out this audit, which is basically a step-by-step guide as to how to correlate yourself better to your competitors. Okay? So you'll notice what Surfer's calling out under this true density area. The number one thing that you could do would be to add more home equity line mentions. So you have 3 mentions of it. It's suggested that you mention it in your content 5 to 11 times, right? So the action to take is to add 2 to 8 more of these. So what's really funny about this home equity line, this is Surfer's first suggestion under true density with this NLP next to it. That's interesting. Where did that suggestion come from? Oh yeah, back here, home equity line of credit. So it's pinging this, NLP API. It's using these entities to help you design a strategy to rank better based on the competitors. And again, if I go out here and I choose different competitors, I decide, hey, I'm going to drop this Investopedia, right? I don't actually want that out because I want these two. These two have slightly higher, content scores. So I just want these two. Then the audit changes. So again, you have full control over how, who you're correlating against at any given time. As you go out to your page and you make updates to it, you'll come back to the auditor, you'll click the refresh button. And again, what I tell everybody is it's kind of like having a quiver of arrows. You don't want to shoot all of your ammunition at once. So if I was, Rocket Mortgage, I'd probably come in here and I would take all of these 100% relevant terms and I would try to get them into a better density with my competitors. And making all these changes, what is that? It's like, 20, 30 keyword changes will potentially, help me rank. And again, Surfer's audit is showing you phrases and words and numbers that correlate. And it's telling you exactly how many times to use it in your content. So this true density area is a huge opportunity for you to put yourself into perfect topical alignment. As we go down the audit, you'll notice it's going to call out other things like, for example, maybe Rocket Mortgage is a little bit light on content. They only have 2,600 words in the body, and these other ones have a lot more. So what if they wrote another 3,000 words or 2,000 words? That would put them up closer in trend with these other ones. And just to see more competitors, let's go back out and add in the number 1 again. We'll go back to the audit. We'll scroll down to words and body. Okay, so now that we added another competitor in here, we can see, maybe just 1,000 or 1,200 more words. Just get yourself a little bit higher up might be a ranking factor for you. So Surfer helps you understand how you rank up. So you have no bolded words on the Rocket Mortgage page. Maybe you need to bold some terms and that would help you rank. Now, just because these exist doesn't mean that this absolutely 100% is going to help you rank. Although I will tell you, absolutely 100% it's going to help you rank. Especially these NLP terms in this true density area. This other stuff that's like your content structure, your article structure, not quite as important. There's a bunch of other things you can look at. Of course, like images and headings and meta descriptions, right? So you maybe need to add just a few characters into your meta description on this page. Again, acting as if you were Rocket Mortgage. But you can go back and forth from this page to this audit, click the refresh button, update, come back to the audit, update, come back to the audit. You get me, right? And tweak your page into the top results this way with Surfer. And this is why this tool is getting rave reviews. This is why I'm a huge fan of it. And again, this is why I'm an affiliate of it, because the audit alone is awesome. Now let's get into the content editor for a second. So the content editor, you're starting a new website. This is what's really going to interest you. Let's say you need to write a page about home equity. This content editor allows you to set up a template. Now, Surfer automatically chooses the top 5 competitors based on content scores. I'm going to go ahead and include the balance. This one here. Yeah, I'll include these 4. And you'll see it gives you an outline to follow. So you're going to be writing approximately 3,100 words with 27 headings, 11 paragraphs, and at least have an image. Down here where it says terms to use, this is a fascinating new feature they just put in. So you have all of these terms, and let me point out again, they let you see the NLP terms. These are these terms from, again, the NLP API that I talked to you about. So you can highlight all the NLP terms or just all terms that you should be utilizing. You can add some of these other ones or include some of these other ones if you'd like to. You can also, you see this H? These are headings. So it's marking certain words are being used in the competitor's headings on the page. So these should be used in headings on your page. You can also, as you go, mark specific items like this with an H by just using the H on the keyboard. Sometimes it's a little oversensitive and it adds more H's than it should. I'm sure the guys at Surfer will fix that because it's a brand new feature. But again, you can decide what your headings are, what words to use. You can also ignore terms. So if terms are coming up here you don't want to see or you don't want to use, you put them on your ignore list. So we're creating a content outline. And then finally down here, it pulls the titles from your competitors and it pulls questions from people also ask on Google to help you create an entire content outline for this subject. So we're going to want to include some of these questions, and we might even want to look at some of the competitors, and you decide at some of these titles that are in here that, hey, you know what? I really do need these titles here. How home equity works, that's super important. I want to talk about harmful home equity practices, home equity loans. So you can, again, tweak your template to your exact liking and specification, right? And then as you write your content, or if you give this to your content writer, this is a great feature. You can just share and click the share button and copy this URL, which by the way, I'm going to paste it because I want you to have a copy of it. I want you to actually be able to use this for yourself. So you're going to use it on my license for free. You don't even have to buy the software. Again, I just want you to see this and try it. And I'm going to take this Rocket Mortgage just as an example. And this is a little bit of a hack because again, the content editor is what you want to use when you're starting a new page. I'm going to use it backwards. I'm going to take an existing page. I'm going to copy the content from it. I'm going to paste it into the content editor. And the content editor is going to tell me, you know, the formatting is going to get messed up, but really I'm just analytically looking at this. It's going to tell me or show me where I am with my content score. It's going to show me the number of words I need to be writing. It's going to show me if I have the right number of headings and images and all that stuff. And then again, down to these terms, it's going to show me what I'm missing. So I don't have a products heading on my page. So if I come in here and I put products and I type it into my content and I turn this into a H2, boom, you'll see how it goes green over here. Good job. You're in the optimal range. So this editor over here to the right, as you're working, as you use terms in the correct density and use the correct headings, and again, these NLP terms are these topically relevant terms that are super important. I mean, look at this credit score. So you mean to tell me, Rocket Mortgage, you have this giant page about home equity and you're not using credit score once? Well, that makes a lot of sense to me why they're not ranking. The bot understands that credit score is super important to this whole concept. So without that particular term on the page, how could this page outrank Investopedia, right? So these are the suggestions. The other really cool thing about this tool is this highlight all button. So Surfer allows you to kind of adjust this interface now. It's a new update and allows you to use this highlight all. What highlight all does is it shows you in your content where your important words are, right? And the reason this is important is if I delete something, a term, let's see here. Just want to give you an example. Okay. So for example, if I was editing my page here and I came in and I deleted loan term by accident, you'll see over on the right hand side, it actually dropped out of the suggested density or number of times to use that term. Now, if I put it back in, it goes green. So your whole objective is to get your content into alignment with your competitors, be original, actually write it. The guys over at Surfer preach this, you know, they didn't make this tool for bot content. Could it work? Sure, it could work, but you already have this beautiful article. All you really need to do is expand upon it and push the content more in this line of things. Now, if you don't want Surfer, you don't want to get a subscription, it's expensive. I totally get it. Use the Google NLP API to find the topics that your page is missing and put yourself in better alignment, and then take your written content and crunch it against your competitors. And maybe you have to do 2 or 3 competitors, and maybe you have to do all of this punching manually with a spreadsheet to save a few bucks. You could totally do it. I used to do it. It works out really well. It's just super time consuming. If you want to save your time, I highly suggest Surfer. And again, I'm going to share this. I'm going to share this content editor with you. I can share an audit with you. Once you do get a URL up, then what I'll do is I'll come in here and I'll delete out this Rocket Mortgage for you. I'll put your URL in there, right? But for all intents and purposes, we want to give you a fresh slate here in the content editor. This page needs to be about home equity. So we need to get that into the heading. And you'll see as I do things, I was at a 2 content score. Now I'm at a 13 because I put the target keyword into an H1 tag. So again, as you build out your page, as you do a good job of on-page optimization, as you use these terms and these headings and these NLP concepts in your article, the content score is going to go up. And again, you can get yourself ranking extremely fast. And I'm seeing my own rankings are coming in about 40-day cycles right now. Google obviously no longer allows you to submit a website through the Google Search Console. So that's a new roadblock. You have to get your page indexed in other ways. There's a few tricks floating around right now. The biggest one I've heard is if you just upload a video on YouTube and you put a link to like your latest blog article or your latest whatever on your website in the YouTube video description, even if the video is like, garbage, essentially, that link will help activate Google and get Google to index it. And since that link is living on a Google property, it won't not index it. So that's kind of a hack I'm hearing right now for indexing. But long story short, if you're updating your website, the Google bot will come back and check you out. Use this NLP term. Use the idea of correlative SEO and entities and salience scores. Look into the sentiment analysis. Read about IBM Watson sentiment analysis. Read about BERT more on Google. Read about entities. Read about entity stacking. And realize your website, your brand, is an entity of entities. So it's really just about stacking this information and making you the go-to source for your industry. So once you have your content correlated with the big dogs, the only other thing that's setting you apart are, again, index pages, backlinks, domain authority, all that other stuff. But that's where everybody gets caught up first. We need to stop getting caught up in the micro, fix the macro, and then worry about the micro. And the truth is, I have so many weak, unauthoritative domains that rank in the top 10 on Google. I have number 1 and number 2 and number 3 positions for all sorts of really competitive terms, just using content alone, just using NLP. And here's the craziest part about all of this. I don't hear anybody in the SEO communities talking about this stuff. Everybody's still worried about their PBNs and their backlinks and their ideas from the 80s. We might as well, I don't know, revitalize GeoCities while we're at it. Be aware. A couple of weeks ago, Google unleashed BERT. It's going to continue to learn. That's what machine learning is. It's going to continue to build out understanding around all of these entities. It's hacking our language, right? It's hacking it to fully understand it. And, just be aware this is how the bot works. So if you want to rank, this is the go-to method of ranking right now. Again, if you guys have questions, feel free to reach out. Jeff Davis, I'm going to message you this template that I made so that you can try it out for yourself. If there's another page or another thing you'd like to see, I'm happy to burn some credits for you. That goes for anybody else who's watched my video. I really appreciate your time. If you want me to burn a couple Surfer credits, I'd be happy to do that for you. If you do wind up interested in Surfer, I'd love if you use my affiliate link. Again, I'm not forcing anybody to do that. I want to come with a lot of value to the community. If you check out my site, I just put it up. I'm just pivoting into help and consult. And I have this guide I'm going to keep expanding. And all of these concepts that I'm talking about are in it. So how to start an e-commerce business, but SEO related, SEO heavy. I do talk about some pay per click, but it's mostly SEO. And then I have some articles that you can check out. One of the most popular articles circulating around right now is this keyword tools for Google. This lists every keyword tool that's currently available, the free ones and then the paid ones. And I just give a bunch of really good information on how to, or which ones I like to use. And then I link off to pretty much everything that's out there. So if you're trying to get better at your keyword research, check that out. But between good keyword research and then planning your page out with the correct entities and focusing on the correct subject matter, you absolutely can outrank the competitors. Throw Surfer on top of it. If you're looking for, as far as I'm concerned, it's like entering cheat codes. It's a fantastic tool, and there's not too many others out there right now that can keep up with these guys. They just released this content planner. I'll do this for you too, man. So Jeff Davis, because you asked, I'm going to give you a content planner for home equity and a quick peek at what this does. So it's going to research your topic and it's going to find other clusters that relate to your topic. And again, this is a brand new feature. They just put it out the other day. And I only have 20 credits to use here. I will not be handing these out because I need to do some testing myself. But you can see the other pages. Essentially, we're going to come up with other pages that you could write. So other topics you could write about that fit in this cluster, or would enable you to create content silos to rank quicker. And again, it's kind of the theory that if you were writing about peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, you'd have to have a silo about peanut butter, a silo about jelly, a silo about bread, and then on that peanut butter and jelly page you would link off to those, and you might even have some instructions on there on how to make the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. But it's again, just getting your content in these clusters that the bot can understand. And when the bot sees that you have all of these different topics covered, it's just going to naturally, help you rank and outweigh the competitors. So we'll keep letting this crunch for a second. I'll pause. All right, so that took forever to crunch, but again, it's doing a huge analysis. Hopefully the results load. It's been a little glitchy. Again, it's a new feature. Awesome. Here we go. So this is it, man. This is your guide. If you want to rank on home equity, these are the other pages that you're going to want to have that are going to help you build your topical relevance. Now, this is called keyword clustering. This is something new to Surfer. There is another tool out there that's offering something similar. My friend Leo over at Keyword Cupid has a clustering software as well. This is not utilizing NLP, but he has an advanced mathematical algorithm that's spitting out, I guess his own version, his own analysis of keywords. So you upload your keywords to his tool, and it'll turn everything into a mind map, right? And you can actually plan out your clusters based on the mapping. So again, the reason I'm showing you this is what's the future of SEO? Well, once you get your entities in alignment for on page, then it's going to be creating all of the pages that help, create buoyancy across your site about a specific topic. That's where the clustering then comes in. And again, Surfer, Keyword Cupid are two of the first people on the scene for clustering. So keyword clustering is going to be a major part of this. And again, the last thing I want to call out, major change in SEO that's going to be coming, because you have entities and how all this stuff is stacked and how it has citations. The big topic that isn't being discussed or mentioned is passage SEO. So what do we mean by that is when you actually have those deep links into an article. So if we jump over to this e-com article on my site, these links up here, bring you down to specific topics. These individual, hashtags or, sections of your article are going to have to be optimized sooner than later. So passage optimization is going to be something you start to see pop up on some resumes, mark my word. So again, long story short, I hope this has been helpful for you. My name is Ed. I'm available as an expert SEO consultant or online business coach. I do a lot in the e-commerce space. I'm not your typical SEO. I'm a small business owner. I learned SEO because I was tired of all of the snake oil out there, all of the people with empty promises about certain things working and other things not working. And again, there's a ton of ways to slice the bread. But if you follow this major update from Google, this BERT algorithm update, if you follow entities on your page, and if you correlate against competitors who are already ranking, there's really no way that you can't not rank your website. I hope this was helpful. If you have more questions, feel free to reach out through the contact form or check me on Facebook. Again, lots of articles and resources. I'm going to keep posting more stuff up here for you guys. Thanks so much for your time today. I wish you the best of luck with your SEO journey. Take care.